I'm a pilgrim guide both in Assisi in Italy, and I'm also a pilgrim chaplain in the Holy Land. And in both capacities, I get to accompany people as they're experiencing the places where Jesus walked, and the apostles and Mary, or where St. Francis and St. Clare lived and walked. When you go on pilgrimage, you are there really to allow God to work in your life, in and through the stories and the lives of the holy men and women who were in that place. Change on a pilgrimage is a tricky thing. Like everything else in the spiritual life, it's really God's gift, and God works with who we are. And so God's going to work with me on a particular day in the cycle of my life as it is at that moment. One story that really strikes me, it takes place in a town called Civita. To get to this place, you have to cross a bridge over a very high gorge, a very narrow bridge that you're really out in the middle, of this vast expanse as you're walking. Well, on our pilgrimage, there was a poor Clare sister from the United States, an older woman, and she told us the night before, she said, "I want to go across this bridge to see this place, but you have to help me." And so myself and the woman who was her traveling companion walked the bridge with her, holding on to her arms as she looked down and crossed that bridge in great fear. What strikes me is that on a pilgrimage, you support your fellow pilgrims in the experience. And that's what pilgrimage is all about for me, is the community that develops in the particular place. We always take pilgrims on a boat ride, and it's a little bit commercial. But there's such an important thing that once you're out on the lake, and maybe the sun is going down behind the hillside, and you're looking at what Jesus saw. And even 2,000 years later, the lake is much smaller now than it was then, but just being out on the lake and thinking, this is what Jesus experienced. A specific place in a specific time, and the stories that we know from the Gospels about Jesus on the Sea of Galilee, the lake there. And that's what pilgrimage does for me.